Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight, we're here to kick off the Rory Price Memorial right here at the famous Lanier Motor Speedway in iRacing. And I am excited to bring this race to you here tonight. My name is K.R. Stolfus. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, guys. And in the booth with me, I have a very, very special guest. It is none other than Kyler Hope, direct from Evergreen Speedway. Kyler, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. It is another beautiful day up here in the Pacific Northwest. We got the Rory Price Memorial iRacing event tonight, and then tomorrow we hit the asphalt in real life at Evergreen Speedway. It's a huge event, and it's becoming even bigger and with this iRacing collaboration. And first off, we'd like to thank the people that are helping us make it happen. A few of our sponsors, Narrative Coffee Company out of Everett, Washington. Narrative Coffee is an Everett-based community-focused, quality-forward coffee company with friendly faces and a rotating selection of roasters each month. Can be found at narrative.coffee. We also got Velton's Coffee Roasting Company, also out of Everett. Skillfully crafted coffee out of Everett, Washington, available at veltonscoffee.com. Spotlight Visual Spotter System. Spotlights is a revolutionary system that uses lightning cues rather than audio to provide spotter and flag information while racing. Spotlights provides immediate feedback to the driver, outperforming audio-based spotter systems for speed and reliability. Get yours today at www.midwestsim.com. A couple more left. We got Harding Motorsports Supply out of Langley, British Columbia. Harding Motorsports Supply, they are based out of Langley and proudly provide auto parts to racers in the lower mainland and Pacific Northwest. We got to give a huge shout out to these guys, 305 MD Design Sprint Car Series, for helping us set up the car and get this event really going. If you're interested in racing these sprint cars that you're going to be watching later tonight, they race every Monday night on iRacing at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's a cool thing to be a part of. And finally, we got Coulby's iPaints. Huge shout out to him for getting all our real world paint schemes that we're going to be seeing at Evergreen Speedway tomorrow onto the iRacing event tonight. You can visit him at Coulby iPaints on Facebook.
I'll tell you what, Coulby iPaints does a lot of the sprint car paints for me, and it never is disappointing. Some great work there. A lot of great work and hard work has gone into this here tonight, and qualifying is now getting ready to take place. Practice is wrapped up, and we're going to start seeing these guys head out onto the track, try and lay down a very fast lap time, set themselves up here in a good starting position. And that is going to mean everything here tonight, as these 305s, after talking to the drivers, are very difficult to get around this track. And this is going to make for some great racing all night long, Kyler.
Yeah, I was just watching the hour-long practice session that they had right now, and even right now in practice, they're all over the place. You see them spinning out, hitting the wall, popping wheelies. They're still trying to figure out these cars, even though they've been working on them for a long time, close to even 3 months now. So it's really going to be a test over these 45 laps during the main event to see who has the most consistent car control throughout the night.
That it will. Well, Kyler, while we have a moment before a car runs out on the track and starts turning a lap time, what can you tell us about the Rory Price Memorial?
So the Rory Price Memorial, it's in its 14th running tomorrow night. It's honoring a great young driver who made an impact on so many lives. He was always a staple of open wheel racing on asphalt in the West Coast, and just a great guy to be around, Rory Price. And this event honors him and his legacy he left behind. Left us far too soon, but it's quickly became one of the biggest asphalt sprint car races in the West Coast, and now even close to the country. And we're expecting over 30 cars here tomorrow night. Doug and Tracy Hobbs have done a great job promoting this event, and we're just excited for some great race tomorrow night. But first, we got the iRacing version tonight.
We got the iRacing version tonight happening here in iRacing's Lanier Motor Speedway. The Rory Price Memorial will take place tomorrow at Evergreen Speedway. So if you guys are able to join that group of fans, make sure you watch the race for me as well. I will not be able to attend. Kind of sad about that, but scheduling conflicts and a very long distance for me. However, because of the internet, we're able to make this happen here tonight across the entire country and probably even across the world. We'll have some people checking in from other countries not just North America.
Yeah, this is a really neat event. I mean, being able to have anyone in the world tune in and watch it is pretty unique. Tomorrow night, you'll be able to catch all the updates through our Facebook page at Evergreen Speedway to stay as close to the action as you can, even if you're across the country or even across the world. So be sure to follow us on Facebook and get all the real life updates for tomorrow night's event.
Well, Kyler, you're the track announcer at Evergreen, so you may have a bias, you may not. You may not even be allowed to have one. But pre-race, early favorites. Who you calling for tonight, and who you calling for tomorrow?
Tonight, Wally Beatty, he is a great guy. Got to watch him race last week. He is a fun driver to watch. He'll be rocking Robert Beck's number 3 paint scheme. He's very strong, fun guy to watch. We got a couple other guys, Michael Henry, Mark Bremkamp, a lot of guys. This is a stacked field tonight. Tomorrow night, it's gonna come down to, I mean, again, another handful, 10 plus drivers that could win it tomorrow. Troy DeCare out of Florida, he's been up here all week. He won back in May at the opening race for the Granite Super Sprint Series at Evergreen. Aaron Wilson, he's been fast all year long, and he's also the reigning champ of the Rory Price. So look out for him in the number 14. A couple other local guys, Cameron Neisinger, Robert Beck, Billy Kennelly. It's really anyone's race tomorrow night. It's going to be a good one.
Well, with all of that being said, coming into tonight's event here in iRacing, the tie-in between Evergreen and Lanier, and also the real life race versus the iRacing race. I believe there was a draft held where the teams that are taking place Saturday night chose drivers to represent them here tonight. What can you tell us about the draft and the drivers that are happening here in iRacing and the teams they represent?
Yeah, we had, I believe, 11 drivers that are racing tomorrow night in real life drafted iRacing drivers tonight. So you'll see their real life paint schemes. So it's kind of a little bit added twist on it. So you'll see make the event even more realistic. Seeing some of the paint schemes that be run in the real life Roy Price being run in the iRacing event tonight. A couple of the drivers that did it, Robert Beck, like I mentioned, he picked Wally Beatty, Greg Mittendorf, and in number 4 picked Keith Pierce, Jay Dishnew, and the number 9 picked Tyler Reed, Cameron Neisinger picked Kyle Larr, Aaron Wilson in the 14 picked Jason Day, James Beerley picked Joshua Hart in number 19, Troy DeCare, like I mentioned earlier, picked number 40 Colin Penn, and it looks like we got some cars on track for qualifying.
And who are we seeing out on track right now?
That is the 51 of Rob Slider. He was drafted. Oh, my bad. That's the 51 of Dylan Thomas, drafted by the 51 of Jake Mann. He'll be racing tomorrow night.
All right, Steven Mastro, you're on deck.
Well, as we're trying to track these drivers down, unfortunately, iRacing does separate stuff out into several groups. So as we're trying to do single car qualifying, I am having to track down a group of drivers here that don't necessarily show up in my timing and scoring screen. So do you know who's out on track at the moment?
It looks like we might have the 54 rolling of Steven Maestro out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Looks like he's making his way out on the track.
The 54 Steven Maestro. He has been in iRacing for a while. I have raced against him in the iRacing pavement car that is non-wing, and he is quite the shoe in those. And we're going to see how well he does in the 305 here tonight. That black and yellow 305 machine rolls around.
A few sponsors for Maestro tonight: WHN Motorsports, Dave's Knuzzler Tyler, Vinny's Barbershop, as well as Sheep Pastry Nursery. So we'll see what Steven is able to do in his qualifying attempt, as he is the first driver out tonight.
Next driver out is the 88 machine, Thomas O'Hara. He rolls out on the track. O'Hara trying to make his qualifying presence felt here tonight. He takes the green flag.
Thomas O'Hara out of Mount Lake Terrace, Washington, not very far from Evergreen Speedway. So, and he is a self-sponsored driver. So, and he's also a regular fan at Evergreen Speedway. So we'll be seeing him out there tomorrow night, I'm sure, for the Rory Price Memorial.
O'Hara hugging that yellow line as close to it as he can get, trying to lay down his best lap time. He's going to end up in third place with a 13.381. Now we wait for our next driver to roll out. I believe that is the 43 of Daniel Dye.
Daniel Dye driving the 43 out of Daytona Beach, Florida, sponsored by Ben Kennedy Racing.
Dye gets out on track as we look at our qualifying time. So far, we've had three drivers turn in a lap time. Maestro, Slider, and O'Hara. That is your order. And now Dye in that 43 machine going to try and lay down a great lap here. He gets those left side tires right on yellow line.
Yeah, that is going to be the preferred groove, I think, tonight. We were able to see the outside line work a little bit early on, but I think that's going to be the main way around the track tonight is that inside line.
That 43 machine lays down a lap time that is good enough for second place with a 13.199. Next car to be rolling out is the 23 of Ellie Musgrave. Ellie, a pink and black machine. What can you tell us about Ellie here tonight?
Ellie is actually one of our mini stock drivers currently at Evergreen Speedway. She drives the 23 in real life, and she is a strong driver. And she's also a very young driver, so this will be fun watching her grow up throughout the ranks at Evergreen Speedway throughout the years. She is sponsored by Go WMST, Electronic Mechanica, Thrive Community Fitness, as well as Streamline Digital Imaging.
Ellie coming across the line there. Laying down another lap here. Looking like she's got that car nice and straight, very stable in that 23. Her qualifying lap being done, she will move into third place. We've had 5 drivers take a qualifying time, and Ellie is third fastest for the moment. The next car up to qualify is the 69 machine of Corey Whitworth.
Corey Whitworth out of Durant, Oklahoma, sponsored by Great Western Transport as well as Mike M Designs.
Corey trying the high line here. A little different than what we've seen so far tonight. That high line being used by the 69. Not really looking too close to the wall, but maybe trying to warm the tires up, burn off some fuel a little bit, make that car a little bit faster. As he goes down through the corner, his first lap time good enough for 6th. This time by, he is going to post the third quickest lap time, so move the 69 of Corey Whitworth into third place.
Yeah, solid run. You saw him try that high line early on. Like you said, maybe trying to burn a little bit extra fuel or just get those tires a little bit extra heat in them, but it ends up paying off as he goes up to the third spot early on.
Next car up, Mark Brimkamp in the 78. We saw Brimkamp in last Friday's last chance qualifier race. He has made it into the big show here tonight as he is trying to lay down a qualifying lap. What can you tell us about Mark?
Yeah, Mark was fun to watch last week, and he is out of Brighton, Colorado, sponsored by Gears and Glitz Apparel and more. And like we said, over 13 states and provinces represented tonight, so it is certainly a across the states affair.
Brimkamp moves up into second place. So far, no one is able to touch that 54's lap time of a 13.168. But now we have a new challenger coming out on the track. That is the 51 machine of Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, Dylan Thomas out of Denison, Texas, sponsored by Waller Motorsports, Fast and All, JMD Signs and Graphics, Big Al Kids and Motorsports Foundation. Also by Mike M Designs, Custom Racing Engines, Southern Sim Racing, Team Taxes, and Yardbird Enterprises.
Dylan hugging that yellow line. We're going to see that a lot here in qualifying. A lot of these drivers going to try and hold down to the bottom and get all that they can through there. But Dylan got the most so far as he jumps to the top of the speed chart with a 13.068. We're flirting with a 12-second bracket lap time now. And it was something that we saw very close on Friday night, last Friday night, but it didn't happen. It might happen tonight as the 12 machine of Kyle Lahr hits the track.
Yeah, Kyle Lahr rocking Cameron Neisinger's paint scheme out of Soap Lake, Washington. Sponsored by Granite Construction, Woodinville Import Auto Repair, Clean Crawls, Fleet Service Auto and Truck Repair, Lost Canoe Brewing Company, Chandler Reach Vineyards, Overturf Photography, Property Inspector, West Lakes Commercial Property, Pacific Performance, Johansson Mechanical, 425 Motorsports, Rostrom Racing 18, Rex Hutchinson Racing Engines, and My Crofton.
Kyle Lahr wasting no time laying down a quick lap as he jumps up to second place with a 13.099. That's two cars with a 13.0 so far. Who's going to be the next driver to lay down that quick lap? It looks like the 14 of Jason Day waiting to go out. What can you tell us about Jason Day?
Jason Day is rocking Aaron Wilson, defending Rory Price Memorial Champions paint scheme. He's also out of Victoria, British Columbia. Sponsored by Taylor Custom Metal Craft, Tri-X Group, the Keg Steakhouse Bar, Shark Race Engines, Alpine Murin, and Stanhope Organics. And we are flirting with that 12-second bracket. In practice earlier today, Matt Dale was the only one to reach under 12. So we'll see if anyone's going to be able to top Dylan Thomas and get into that 12-second bracket.
Jason Day into third place on his opening lap. A little bit of a wiggle coming off of 2. We'll see if that slows him down here. Big wiggle off of 4 that time, and it looks like third place is the best he can get. His first lap was his fast one with a 13.168. Tyler Reed in the 9 machine rolling out on track now.
Yeah, Tyler out of Lincoln, Delaware, rocking Jay Dishnew's number 9 paint scheme. Sponsored by First Line Systems, Great Western Transport, TDC Shocks, JMD Graphics, Landrum Coil Springs, Diablo Chassis, Rex Hutchinson Engine, as well as Super Speed Motorsports, Maxxis Hooters, Michelin Ultra.
Tyler Reed rolling around. Currently, his first lap has him in 10th, and Reed down to the bottom. Once again, these drivers all trying to hug that yellow line in qualifying the short way around. And Reed gonna jump up to second place with a 13.085.
Just 2 100ths off of Dylan Thomas, so it is certainly a competitive group of cars up top.
The 15 of Neil Allison waiting for his chance to roll out.
Neil Allison out of Greensboro, North Carolina, sponsored by GPG Graphics and N2 Racing. So we got our second North Carolina native coming out on track.
15 machine given the green light. Rolls out, getting up to speed here at Linear. He is another driver that looked like he was going to try the high line there, but brings it back down for his green flag down through 1 and 2. You can see when he gets on the throttle, it really picks the front end of the car up here on this pavement track with a dirt car setup.
Yeah, it is a tricky setup for sure. And it looks like he's a little bit sideways coming off at turn number 2. We'll see how much that affects his lap time coming off of 4.
Neil Allison in the 15 machine, going to stay with 11th place. Had 12 qualifiers, and Neil puts it into 11th. Not a bad job. That is a difficult car to get a hold of. Made it work. Next out is the 19 of Joshua Hart.
Yeah, Joshua also out of North Carolina, except he's out of Hickory, but lives in Everett, Washington currently. He was drafted by James Bierley in the number 19, sponsored by First Line Systems, Great Western Transport, TDC Shocks, JMD Graphics, Landrum Coil Springs, Hurricane Chassis.
Art currently in 13th, trying to go for more on his second lap. Down through 3 and 4, up on the throttle, across the line he goes. And he is going to move from 13th up to 10th place. So put Joshua Hart in the 19 machine as our 10th fastest qualifier for the moment.
A few strong drivers still to come out. Wally Beatty is one, and like I mentioned earlier, Matt Dale was the only one to touch the 12-second bracket, so we'll see if he's going to be able to do that when he comes out for his qualifying run. Look for him in the 57 machine.
All right, we're waiting for our next driver, and it looks like we have one out on track. That is the 13 of Mike Oakley.
Mike Oakley out of Calgary, Alberta in the number 13, sponsored by Narrative Coffee Company, Velton's Coffee Roasting, Justice Brewing, as well as the Western Super Sprint Series in that really good looking number 13 machine.
Oakley right now 13th on the chart, coming around to make his second lap better, and that second lap was a lot better as he is going to move into 4th place here tonight for the Rory Price Memorial. The 40 of Colin Penn out on track now. Colin trying to get up to speed here. What can you tell us about the 40?
He is out of Avon Lake, Ohio, drafted by Troy DeCare. So one of the strong drivers in tomorrow night's main event at Evergreen, sponsored by First Line Systems, Great Western Transport, TDC Shocks, JDM Graphics, Landrum Coil Springs, Diablo Chassis, Al Parker Engine, as well as LFOD Motorsports, MD Designs, and Colin Roberts Broadcasting Incorporated.
Colin Penn into 4th place, trying to get a little bit more here in qualifying on his second lap. Not good enough to advance him, but his second lap was faster. He is going to be stuck with a 13.111. Good enough for 4th place at the moment. So nice job, Colin Penn, moving into 4th.
And our top 7 all separated just by 1/10 of a second, so it's quite a small gap. Such a strong field.
Michael Henry in the 91 machine, rolling out on track now. What can you tell us about Mike?
He is out of Jacksonville, Florida, and he was drafted by the number 91 Chase Getz, sponsored by First Line Systems, Great Western Transport, TDC Shocks, JDMD Graphics, Landrum Coil Springs, Diablo Chassis, Al Parker Engine, as well as Spaceballs, the Spirit Car Team, DRG Designs, Racing Against ALS, and North Florida Predator Hunters.
Henry right now trying to lay down a fast lap. He does move into 3rd place with a 13.092. Next car to roll out is the 57 machine of Matt Dow.
Matt Dow out of Portsmouth, Virginia, drafted by Billy Kennelly's number 57 machine tomorrow night, sponsored by Kennelly Keys Music, American Music, Frankie's Pizza, Signature Textured Service, Fleet Service Auto Repair, and Westlake Properties, as well as MD Designs and LFOD Motorsports.
That first lap was 13.820. Trying to get a little bit more out of it here. Across the line he goes. He's going to go to a 13.016. Good enough for the pole. He got all he needed to get for that lap.
Yeah, what a great lap from Matt right there. Like I said, he was fastest in practice, and that carried over here into qualifying. Didn't quite get into the 12-second bracket, but still an incredible lap from Matt right there in the 57 machine.
That 57 is on top of the speed charts, but now the 4 of Keith Pierce can try and take it away from him as Keith is out on track.
Yeah, Keith out of McMinnville, Oregon, drafted by number 4, Greg Mittendorf, sponsored by Mittendorf Motorsports. So you'll be able to see that paint scheme running at Evergreen tomorrow night.
Machine down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Currently in 7th place, trying to get more. Big slide coming off of turn number 4. He catches it, but that cost him quite a bit of time, and he is going to be stuck with his first lap as his fastest one with a 13.159. Move him into 7th place. Now the 3 machine out on track, and what can you tell us about Wally?
Wally Beatty out of Dallas, Texas, drafted by the number 3, Robert Beck. So another paint scheme you'll see in real life tomorrow night at Evergreen Speedway, sponsored by Millennium Motors, American Music, Preston Automotive, Westlake Commercial Properties, Frankie's Pizza, Fleet Service Auto and Truck Repair, as well as Les Butler Racing, South Dallas Battery, MD Designs 305 Series.
Wally in the 3 machine. First lap kind of slow. That's all right. It doesn't have to stay there, as he is coming around to complete another one, more up to speed this time, as the 3 machine is going to turn a 13.144, good enough for 7th place this time. Digging hard through the corner here, up off the straightaway, across the line once again, and he is going to get a little bit faster with a 13.11.
And I believe that was the last qualifier to take time. So I believe we're going to roll into opening ceremonies next.
All right, qualifying done and over. Real quick, we'll go through our qualifying results. Matt Dial in the 57 on pole here tonight. Dylan Thomas, second fastest. Tyler Reed pulling off third. Fourth, Michael Henry. Fifth in the 12 machine, Kyle Larr. Colin Penn, 6th, 7th, Wally Beatty. Sorry. Oh, man, I'm going to be in trouble for that one. Keith Pierce, 8th, 9th, Mike Oakley. Jason Day, 10th, 11th, Stephen Mastro, and 12th, Mark Brimkamp. Daniel Dye, 13th, 14th, Corey Wentworth, Ellie Musgrave, and 15th, 16th, Joshua Hart, Rob Slider, 17th, 18th, Neil Austin, and Thomas O'Hare will take 19th fastest in qualifying. So guys, we're going to step away for a moment. We're going to honor 2 great countries here tonight being represented. No one go anywhere. Please join us for these anthems.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Presents the Rory Price Sprint Show, the ultimate NSRA wing sprint car race in the Western United States. See drivers from the West Coast and Canada compete for the coveted RP crown. Local sprints include Granite Super Sprint, West Coast Sprint, Washington Midget, Figure 8 Race, and more. It's one of the biggest nights of the year. The annual Rory Price Wing Sprint Show, Saturday, August 3rd. Kids 10 and under, free. Military, always free. Details, evergreenspeedway.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As qualifying is wrapped up, we are getting ready for heat races to take place. But before we do, we're going to take a moment and we're going to talk to our second place qualifier. That is Dylan Thomas. Kyler, how about you take this one away?
All right. Well, congrats on getting to the front row. Qualifying second. It's a strong field of cars. I mean, what's kind of going through your mind as you put down that fast lap?
Honestly, I was just trying to keep the tires under me and keep the nose pointed straight, and I knew I'd put down a good lap if I could get that done.
So you were drafted by the 51 of Jake Mann. So what kind of honor does that bring, having a real-life Rory Price competitor want to pick you to win in the event tonight?
Oh, man, it means a lot to me. I'm just glad that somebody had some faith in me at least.
Well, Dylan, this track here at Lanier with the 305s, what can you tell us about how hard this is to get around the racetrack?
Right now, it's kind of rubbered up, so it's a little easier, but it's still really tough to keep your tires under you. But once you get the hang of keeping them rear tires hooked up, you got it made.
And what are you trying to do when you say keep them hooked up? Are you not throwing it sideways? Are you trying to keep the wheel straight? Are you being real gentle on the throttle? Or are you someone like me that just goes, wide open to work?
I'm just trying to drive it in as straight and as smooth as I can and roll the center and just drive straight off the corner instead of trying to arc down off getting a run, because right there you'll lose all your drive off.
All right, Dylan. Well, man, congratulations on your second place qualifying effort. A good start to the night for you. How do you think this will play into your favor here tonight?
Tonight, I think track position is going to mean everything to you. The heat races are going to be a big role in what you see tonight. So if I can keep it up front in a heat race, hopefully I'll be there at the end of the Big A.
All right, Dylan. Well, Kyler got to talk a little bit about it, but before we move you on into and step away from you, any shout outs or thank yous that you'd like to give?
Yeah, I want to thank Jake Mann for drafting me right there. Waller Motorsports, Fastenal, JMD Signs and Graphics, Big Al Kids and Motorsports Foundation, and all the guys over at MD 305 Series for being behind me, and y'all for putting a broadcast on.
All right, that is Dylan Thomas, our second place qualifier, doing a quick little interview. Now let's talk to another driver in the, I believe that is the 43 machine, Daniel Dye. Daniel, you got your ears on, buddy?
I got you, man. What's up?
How you doing out there tonight?
Pretty good. Excited to get this thing rolling.
All right, the 43 going with a 13th quickest qualifying time here tonight. So mid-pack, what are you going to have to do to get yourself out front?
I think what other guys have been saying, like track position's key here. It's really hard to pass. So I think I'm starting 7th in the first heat, which is going to be good, being on the inside for sure. So I got to make the most of that, get as many positions as I can, and start as far up front and the A-man as I can too. So track position's key here, and you just got to take it one step at a time.
So with the 45 lap main event on later tonight, how important is conserving your tires early on in the race, or is it just kind of go hard at the beginning because that's when everyone's grouped up and you know track position is going to be important?
Well, in practice, I decided to run a bunch of long runs, and it seemed as the tires wore down, I actually got quicker. So I'm focused on just driving as good as I can for the entire race and seeing how that does for me.
All right, Daniel, well, before we move on to the next one, any shout outs, thank yous, people that you'd like to make sure you recognize here tonight?
I just got to thank all my real life sponsors for all they do for me in my career, as well as Richard Orr for putting this thing together. It's a fantastic event. I think it's really, really cool getting all these guys together and putting such an awesome race together. So thank you to everybody that made this thing possible, including you guys.
That is Daniel Dye in the 43 machine tonight, qualified 13th. So he's got some work cut out for him to get to the front. He sounds like he's got a plan for it, Kyler. And I'll be interested to watch him try and get that 43 up front.
Yeah, these heat races are going to be very important to kind of figure out where your car is going to act like in a packed, as well as getting your starting positions right. And then we're going to have a dice roll to figure out the invert for the main event. So these drivers really do not know what they're getting themselves into for us tonight.
That is true. Well, Kyler, what else can you tell us about the event that's taking place tomorrow that we haven't covered just yet?
Well, the Rory Price Memorial, like I said, is just one of the biggest wing sprint car events out there on the pretty much in the nation now. I mean, it's getting up there, and it's going to be a fun event tomorrow night at Evergreen Speedway. Over 30 plus sprint cars are expected. It's just going to be an all-around fun event, and bringing the iRacing world into it and making this big collaboration, making it a 2-day event, I think is the only way that the Rory Price could have got any bigger. It's really cool having a broadcast the night before, getting the drivers involved, getting their paint schemes on screen, getting iRacers from all over the country as well as Canada involved. I think it's just a really neat event, first of its kind that I'm aware of.
Well, it's definitely the first time the Rory Price Memorial has made it into iRacing. Hopefully we do a good enough job, we draw enough interest that this becomes an annual event the day before it happens at Evergreen. I'll tell you what, I am excited for the heat races that are coming up next, guys. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more racing action.
Guarantee that you notice me. You don't walk on my soul for sleep. You wanna make me turn back, way back to the oldest me. Guarantee that you notice me. You don't walk on my soul for sleep. Yeah, you got me like cross me. Yeah, you got me like cross me. It was only one me you could know, and this is my only me.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as heat race number 1 starting to take to the grid. We're going to walk you through our starting lineup. Row number 1 for this heat race will be the 57 machine of Matt Diley and the 51 of Dylan Thomas. Row number 2 will be Tyler Reed in the 9 machine and the 91 of Michael. Oh, I'm sorry, that is all sorts of messed up. The 3 machine of Wally Beatty going to be inside row number 2. Row on his outside is the 14 of Jason Day. Row 3 will be the 43 of Daniel Dye and the 19 of Joshua Hart, and then a 88 machine of Thomas O'Hara bringing up this heat race number 1. Kyler, these drivers starting to feel the pressure now. Qualifying's done and over with. Now it's time to race against other competitors out on the track.
Yeah, so we got these 10 lap heat races, so it's going to be a little taste of the 45 lap main event they're going to have later on. See how the cars react, see if the outside line's going to be an option. We're going to keep a close eye on that, see if any drivers can be able to make it work. As we see 5 paint schemes out there right now looking great. Those are all going to be schemes you can see tomorrow night at Evergreen Speedway. We got the 57, the 91, the 3, the 14, and the 19, all represented by drivers in iRacing that will be paint schemes tomorrow night.
Now we're just waiting for these cars to reach temperature. Drivers anxiously sitting in their vehicles waiting for the chance to lay down this heat race number 1. And I gotta tell you, that 57 machine, I am a big fan of black and red paint schemes. That 57 looking very sharp.
Yeah, Billy Kennelly's car in real life looks just as good, if not even better. Seeing it up close tomorrow night, I'm excited for it, as it'll be ripping around the track tomorrow. And then his teammate behind him in the 3, Robert Beck, another good looking black and red car.
57 machine on pole for this one. He has an onboard camera for this heat race. He is taking us around this linear motor speedway here in iRacing. Lights have gone out on the pace car. That means we are getting ready to go heat racing for this number 1. Ooh, man, I am messing all sorts up now. I'm too wound up for this. Kyler, I'm gonna let you do it.
The excitement is real. We are finally getting to heat racing as the pace car pulls off. We got Matt Dale as well as Michael Henry leading the field to the green. Michael Henry making the outside lane work momentarily. We'll see what Matt's able to do on the inside as they come off of turn number 2 and into turn number 3. Still side by side, your leaders are, and that is the 3 of Beatty right there behind them, as their leaders are still side by side going in the back straightaway.
They have been side by side since the drop of the green flag. That 91 hanging very tough on the outside. Here comes the 3 of Beatty. He is trying to put his nose in there, and now the 91 is going to slide in behind the 57. He finds a little spot to get down on the yellow line. That is the preferred groove so far. But these guys not wasting any time. A little bit of contact on the opening lap between the 43 of Daniel Dye and Joshua Hart, but they make it work, and we have been green flag racing so far in heat race number 1.
Yeah, Henry now, once he finally got cleared by the 57, he started looking to the inside immediately, trying to figure out a way around, see where he's a little bit faster. And he has his nose right there, but just can't get the inside open enough for him to make a move. And the 3 of Wally Beatty right there in 3rd, hanging out, seeing if these leaders are going to make a mistake or not. But he's hanging tough right there.
Across the line they go. Now 4 laps left in this heat race, and the battle for the lead is just as close as it has been all heat race long. This racing action is happening very fast, very quickly. They're clicking off 13-second lap times here, and it is only going to get better as the night goes on.
Yeah, as we come into the final couple of laps, Henry looking to the inside, but just can't make it work. Needs a little bit more drive off. As Dale is making that kind of an arc entrance, cutting him off. Again, good drive off, but just not enough room for Henry to get through.
Henry looks like he's good through the middle of the corner, just cannot get the drive off that the 57 Amada's got. He continues to try as the 91 has a little bit of wiggle. That's going to give some breathing room to our leader, and that is enough to be the finish as the 57 of Matt Diley finishes in the top spot. Heat race number 2 starting to shape up, and drivers already taking to the grid. And Dylan Thomas, we got to talk to the 51 machine, qualified in 2nd place. Here he is, heat race number 2 on pole for that. On his outside is the 12 of Kyle Lahr. Row number 2 will be the 4 machine of Keith Pierce and the 54 of Steven Mastro. Row number 3 will be Corey Whitworth and the 51 of Rob Slider.
Yeah, so we saw Henry in that last race make the outside lane work momentarily for 1, maybe 2 laps, but just did not end up having enough to get around the 57. So we'll see if Kyle Lahr is able to do anything in the 12 on the outside lane, or if the inside lane, like I said earlier, just gonna be the one to the lane you're gonna want as the 51 of Dylan Thomas starts to get rolling.
Heat race number 2, the drivers are ready to get going. Pace car, not as much. Oh, look, the Ford Mustang finally found a gear. Probably had to hit it with a hammer to make it work. I don't like the Ford Mustang much.
I could tell by your comment there. I'm more of a Chevy guy myself either way.
I like you. I like you a lot. All right, so the 51, Dylan Thomas, gonna be on pole for heat race number 2. How is this one going to play out? We got 6 cars out on the track for this heat race. A lot of drivers here trying to make a name for themselves, trying to represent the drivers who take place tomorrow night. There is a lot riding on the line right now in this heat race.
Yeah, Dylan Thomas representing Jake Mann, the 51. And then Kyle Lahr representing Cameron Nicer in the 12 as we are green. Mann gets a great jump, Thomas gets a great jump in Mann's car, and he's gonna take the lead going down the back straightaway with Kyle Lahr falling into second.
The 51 machine out front, Holman serve on the bottom line, the 12 tagging the wall a little bit on the back stretch. Not too bad of a contact. He is able to keep rolling, but that gap is there for the race lead, as it looks like into 3rd place is the 4 of Keith Pierce, trying to make it into the show here and in a good starting spot. Got a little bit of work for him, but the 69 machine of Corey Whitworth in 4th place.
Yeah, we'll see what Pierce is able to do now. He's got some clean air in front of him. We'll see if he's going to be able to track down our leaders of Kyle Lahr and Dylan Thomas, as Thomas hasn't been able to escape Lahr yet. Kyle Lahr on that 12 sticking really close. So as we just pass the halfway point, we'll see what Kyle has for our leader, Dylan Thomas.
Pierce holding on to 3rd, has a good view of the battle shaping up in front of him, as the 51 of Dylan Thomas continues to lead, as we have 4 laps to go here in heat race number 2. That 51 starting to pull away now from Kyle Lahr.
Yeah, it looked like Kyle had a little bit of a slip up coming off of turn 4 a second ago, and that allowed the 51 to pull away. But Kyle Lahr seems to have got everything back under control as they start to reel in your leaders. 2nd and 3rd place as Keith Pierce also starting to close the gap as well.
Right now, the 51 of Rob Slider battling with the 54 as we are on the white flag lap. Dylan Thomas, final time around, clean and smooth, doing what he needs to do to set himself up for the main event tonight. Light bulbs flashing. Dylan Thomas gonna win heat race number 2. Kyle Lahr comes home 2nd. 3rd will be Keith Pierce, Corey Whitworth 4th, Rob Slider 5th, and Steve Maestro rounds out our heat race number 2. Now time for heat race number 3, the 9 machine of Tyler Reed on the inside of row number 1 with the 40 machine of Colin Penn on his outside. Row number 2 will be made up of the 78 of Mark Brimkamp and the 23, that is the 78. Wow. Mike Oakley in the 3 machine 13 will be 3rd, and Mark Brimkamp in the 78 will be on his outside. Ellie Musgrave in the 23 machine will be 3rd row inside, and Neil Allison in the 15 on the outside of row number 3. I need to settle down.
It's just too exciting. You got the sprint cars on track. It's an exciting time. That front row, in real life, that is a father-son combo. Jay Dishnu drives the 9. Newman owns both cars. So it's kind of cool seeing those side by side. I know Jay is pretty excited about that. Great Western is sponsor both of them, as we are rolling for heat race number 3.
To parade laps to get these cars warmed up and ready to go racing. Drivers, all of them are out there to put on a good show. All of them so far have done a great job. Heat race number 3, I expect it to be no different. And this 305 car here in iRacing is meant for the dirt, but we're running on asphalt here tonight. And I think the people who did the setups on these things have done a great job. These cars look fun to drive, and I kind of wish I was out there with them.
Yeah, you can easily put me in one of these seats and I'd be smiling from ear to ear, as this just looks like a blast. As we have Tyler Reed and Colin Penn taking them to the green flag, and we are racing. We'll see what Colin Penn can do on the outside as Tyler Reed dives it deep into the inside, as they're side by side coming off 2, but Tyler Reed's able to clear Penn going down the back straightaway, and Tyler Reed will lead lap number 1.
Reed takes the lead here for the opening lap with the 40 of Colin Penn in hot pursuit. Mike Oakley in the 13, not too far behind. He is trying to find something, a little bit of a perch there. He battles with the 78 of Brimkamp.
Yeah, Bremkamp in that 3rd spot. Don't count him out yet. He was fun to watch last Friday night in the last chance qualifier. So we'll see if he has anything for Penn or Reed, your 2 leaders. As Colin Penn kind of search around, he goes up to the 2nd groove, seeing if he can find a way around Tyler Reed, as your top 3 are nose to tail.
This entire heat race has been nose to tail, as we got a move to the outside by Penn. Didn't quite stick, as the 9 of Reed was able to motor on by, but that was the first car that made a solid look to the outside lane.
Yeah, in your top 5, you could throw a blanket on it as you see them moving around from lanes 1 and 2, just trying to see if they can get any sort of ground on your leader. But it looks like Tyler Reed so far is pretty comfortable out front. He wants to keep it that way.
4 laps to go in heat race number 3. And the battle up front is as intense as when this green flag dropped. Penn with a little bit of a wiggle there, that's going to open up a bit of a gap for the 9 of Reed. Tyler Reed, though, being very smooth. That car has not stepped out sideways at all here in this heat race.
Yeah, with just a few laps remaining now. Colin Penn making one final charge as we have a battle for 3rd as Bremkamp slides up the track. But it looks like he's able to hang on that position for now. Tyler Reed still very comfortable up at the front of the field.
White flag flying, final lap for Tyler Reed in the 9 machine. Here he comes to make his heat race win complete. And he is going to top this heat race number 3. Colin Penn 2nd, 3rd place Mark Brimkamp, Mike Oakley 4th, 5th Neil Allison, and 6th will go to Ellie Musgrave.
Yeah, I was kind of keeping my eye on that battle for 3rd, and it was kind of fun seeing them go side by side for that many laps. So it still is a 2-groove track. So it's going to be interesting to see when we get all, I believe, 19 of these cars out there at once. So that main event for 45 laps is going to be very fun to watch later on tonight.
All right, so as we enter a little bit of a warm-up period, we're going to spend a little bit of time. Kyler, who would be a driver or person you'd like to talk to?
Let's talk to that most recent heat race winner, Tyler Reed. We'll see if we can pull him in here.
Tyler Reed, this is KR and Kyler up in the broadcast booth. You got your ears on, bud?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You won heat race number 3 in that 9 machine. Tell us a little bit about your car and what you can take away from this heat race win to transfer over into the feature.
Man, I got drafted by Jay Dishnu. An honor. I really appreciate it. Hell of a ride. Thing looks pretty. Want to thank First Line Systems Incorporated, Great Western Transport, TDC Shocks, JMD Graphics, Landrum Coil Springs, Diablo Chassis, and Rex Hutchinson Engines for making this thing possible. But it was a little squirrely in the heat race, but we're going to try to dial some stuff in and get it ready for this feature.
So you got the heat race win right there. When it comes to the main event, are you liking that inside line or that outside line?
Man, both are actually preferred for me because if you can roll that outside line and keep that person on the bottom, I mean, you're going to carry that momentum because they're not going to be able to run that bar up to the top side and keep the speed. So, I mean, it's varied. It's kind of like driver preference to me.
Well, Tyler, it looks like that heat race was a good run for you. Coming to the feature for tonight, what kind of changes are you going to have to make as you're going to battle a lot more than just 5 other cars?
Man, main thing's just going to be entry and exit points for me, when to get on, when to get off, and probably wing adjustment for sure. But hopefully we can put this thing in the victory lane.
All right, Tyler. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Good luck tonight and the rest of the race. And one last time, any shout outs, thank yous?
Oh, yeah, for sure. MD Designs 305 Sprint Car Series. And been with them for the past couple of years. We've been wheeling and dealing out here. Colin Penn and Matt Dale and myself have been putting on a hell of a show. And Richard Orff putting on this. This should be a good one to watch.
That is Tyler Reed driving the 9 machine here tonight. And Kyler, these guys trying to make some final adjustments before the feature, but we do have a few more minutes to talk to someone. So what do you say we talk to the 12 machine of Kyle Lahr?
That sounds great to me.
All right, Kyle Lahr, you got your ears on, bud? This is KR and Kyler up in the broadcast booth. Well, Kyle, that 12 machine looking very fast here tonight. Heat races are in the books, getting ready for the feature. What are you doing to prepare for tonight's main event?
Trying to keep the car underneath me and trying to stay off the wall because I hit it a couple times there in the heat race and lost a lot of ground. I can't do that again in the main or my race will probably be over.
Kyle, we were drafted last night by Cameron Neisinger. So what kind of honor is that, knowing that you got a real life driver competing in the Rory Price tomorrow who picked you to win tonight and is really rooting for you?
It's an honor, man. I met him first when I was 14 down here on my home track when he raced sprint cars down here, and ever since then I've just been a big fan of him and been following him around everywhere he goes.
Well, Kyle, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, man. And we know that that 12 machine is going to be fast here tonight, all feature long. What are you going to be able to do, high side, low side? Where are you going to be able to pass drivers out on the track?
Honestly, man, I'm going to try both lanes, and if the high lane don't work, I'm going to go the low lane. If the low lane don't work, I'll probably go high.
All right, Kyle. Well, before we let you go, shout-outs, thank yous.
Yeah, I want to shout out Granted Construction, Woodinville, Import Auto Repair, Clean Crawls, Fleet Service Auto Track Repair, Everett, Washington, Lost Canoe, Brewing Company, Chandler Reach Final Yards, Overturf Photography, Property Inspector, LLC, Westlake Commercial Properties, Pacific Performance Coatings, Johansson Mechanical, 425 Motorsports, Brostrom Racing, and Rex Hutchinson Racing Engines.
All right, Kyle, that's quite the list. Good luck to you here tonight in the main event. We'll let you get out and turn some practice laps.
Thank you, man.
Well, Kyler, the drivers out on track as they prep for this feature event. They got a little bit of warm-up time. So what can you tell us about what's happening next here in this Rory Price Memorial on iRacing?
Well, I just got word from our race control that we rolled a 3-row invert for the main event. So we are getting the lineup set for that. So we'll have that ready for you guys momentarily. So all the fast guys will be coming from row 3. So it's going to be quite an interesting mix-up at the beginning of the race.
So an invert already happening here, not just based off of how they ran in their heat races. So it's another curve for the drivers here tonight. If you were out on track, how would you handle that, expecting yourself to be qualified for the pole, and then you find an invert, and now you have to start from the third row?
Yeah, it's got to be a mind game. You're ready, you're prepared to be running up front, got that clean air in mind, and then all of a sudden you're back in row 3 and you don't really have much choice, and you just got to kind of roll with it. It's going to be a race of keeping your nose clean. 45 laps is a long time, even for sprint cars. It's going to go by quick, but you still got a lot of time. You got to conserve your stuff early on. So it's going to be interesting to see how our fast guys will be coming from row 3.
All right, well, we are going to step away for just a moment, take a quick little break here, and get ourselves set up for the rest of the night. Nobody go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You got me losing my mind just to get you to notice me. You gonna make me turn back, way back to the oldest me. Guarantee that you notice me. You don't walk on my soul for sleep. You wanna make me turn back, way back to the oldest me. Guarantee that you notice me. You don't walk on my soul for sleep. Can you got me like close me? Can you got me like close me? It was only one me you could know, and this is my only me.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Bardol presents the Rory Price Sprint Show, the ultimate NSRA wing sprint car race in the Western United States. See drivers from the West Coast and Canada compete for the coveted RP crown. Local sprints include Granite Super Sprint, West Coast Sprint, Washington Midget, Figure 8 Race, and more. It's one of the biggest nights of the year. The annual Rory Price Wing Sprint Show, Saturday, August 3rd. Kids 10 and under, free. Military, always free. Details, evergreenspeedway.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Turn 3 Racing Network. We are getting ready for our main event here tonight. Drivers will take to the grid, but because this is iRacing, we had to manipulate it a little bit. So when they line up, they're going to do 2 laps under green and set themselves up properly from our qualifying invert. But before that happens, Tyler, I think you have a few words you'd like to share with everyone.
Yeah, it's got to shout out the people who helped make this possible. All the sponsors that got involved and came aboard an event that they didn't really know how it was going to work out. It's kind of the first event of its kind, so we give a huge shout out to Narrative Coffee Company out of Everett, Washington. Narrative Coffee is an Everett-based community-focused, quality-forward coffee company with friendly faces and a rotating selection of roasters each month. Can be found at narrative.coffee. We also got Velton's Coffee Roasting Company, also based out of Everett, Washington. Skillfully crafted coffee out of Everett, available at veltonscoffee.com. Spotlight's visual spotter system. Spotlights is a revolutionary system that uses lighting cues rather than audio to provide spotter and flag information while racing. Spotlights provides immediate feedback to the driver, outperforming audio-based spotter systems for speed and reliability. Get yours today at www.midwestsim.com. We got a couple more. Harding Motorsports Supply out of Langley, British Columbia. They are proudly providing auto parts to racers in the lower mainland as well as the Pacific Northwest. 305 MD Design Sprint Car Series. Huge thank you to you guys for supporting this race and helping set up the car. If you're interested in racing these sprint cars, they race every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And final shout out to Coulby's iPaints. Thank you for getting all the real world paint schemes transferred into the iRacing event tonight. Visit him at Coulby iPaints on Facebook as we are getting the lineup set. It is almost main event time.
Drivers are setting up for this invert. We do have a 3-row invert. We have to do this while they are still rolling. We are in a 45 lap main event. However, it will show 47 because we're going to take these first 2 laps to invert our front 3 rows. And now that they are inverted, we will be going green here momentarily. Kyle Lar in the 12 machine on the pole. The 40 machine of Colin Penn on his outside. Tyler Reed in the 9. Then the 91 of Mike Henry in is outside as we get ready. So green flag here tonight. And there we go. Green flag is out. The 12 machine of Kyle Lar with a good jump on the 40 of Colin Penn. Penn on that outside lane. Here comes the 9 of Tyler Reed.
Tyler Reed trying to sneak his way through into second as the 12 has just checked out Kyle Lar all to himself now. He made easy work of Colin Penn as they are side by side for the second position.
Kyle Lar on the attack early on, got that clean air. He is pulling away from this field. The 9 machine on the inside of Colin Penn, though, he is going to complete the pass through 3 and 4 here. And now the 9 moves into second place. Here comes the 91 of Michael Henry and the 57 of Matt Dale on the inside lane. That inside lane prevailing here. The 40 of Colin Penn losing spots as he is being freight trained on that outside.
Yeah, and up front, it is all Kyle Lar. That's the biggest gap we have seen. And it's just 5 laps into this race, he has checked out. We'll see if he used up too much of his stuff early on or if he is just comfortable and is going to check away from the rest of the field. And it is still some tight side-by-side racing deep in the pack.
Kyle Lar taking us on board as we look out the back over his fuel tank at the rest of this field. These drivers all trying to get everything that they can here tonight in this 45 lap event, and we are already starting to work lap number 10.
Yeah, and Dale has kind of checked out from 3rd place, so we'll see that 57, see who's able to start to close that gap on Kyle Lar. It looks like kind of the field has got themselves sorted out as they are single file, at least for the first 6 positions.
Everyone's starting to get single file here, trying to protect that inside line. Keith Pierce in the 4 machine down on the inside of the 69 of Corey Whitworth. Corey on the outside, close racing there as Keith washed up just a little bit. No contact though, and it looks like the 4 of Pierce starting to win out on the inner lane and now move Pierce into 9th place.
Some very skillful driving deep in the pack as we have stayed green so far through 11 laps. Still Kyle Lar up front has a comfortable lead over Matt Dale, but Matt Dale starting to close that gap ever so slightly as the laps start to tick away.
57 of Dale trying to get to the back bumper of the 12 of Lar, closing that gap ever so slightly. Lars had that clean air all race long, been running his own line, running his own race, but before too long, he is going to have to start worrying about the 57 machine.
Yeah, and the battle for third place really starting to heat up between Colin Penn and Tyler Reed. Colin Penn has tracked down that 9 machine, so we'll see if he is able to get around Reed as the battle for the lead really starting to heat up as Dale has caught your leader.
We go on board with Matt Dale on the 57 as he's going to make a peek to the inside. Had to get on the binders a little bit there as Lar had the line, and Dale had to respect that. But he is there. He is on his back bumper, and he is starting to wear it out.
Yeah, it's a little bit of defensive driving from Kyle Lar. It seems like as he knows Dale is faster and is coming quick. We'll see how much these two are able to battle out side by side as there's a lap car right beneath them.
That is the 91 of Michael Henry. He was slow, and that is going to bring out our first caution here tonight. We go to our turn 3 replay to see what happened to the 91 machine, as it looks like he has got turned by the 51 of Dylan Thomas, facing the wrong way as the rest of the field motors on by. Early incident here for the 91 with about 20 laps to go. We got it sorted out, was able to get straightened and back on the lead lap.
Yeah, it looks like we have about 26 laps remaining. Just a reminder that we'll be going to lap 47 in this race. Kyle Lar is your leader, and he was under heavy pressure that time by from the 57 of Matt Dale. So Dale was coming in a hurry. We'll see if when they line up here, which line Kyle chooses. He looks like he's going to take the inside. So it's going to put Matt Dale on the outside. We'll see if he's going to be able to make it work. Then in row 2, we're going to have Tyler Reed and Colin Penn, who are starting to battle it out pretty hard with each other. So it's going to be interesting to put this field back up together about halfway through this race.
The 305 wing sprint cars here at Lanier are not disappointing. This has been an epic feature event here tonight. The Rory Price Memorial on the iRacing side of it, living up to the hype. In my opinion, these drivers know what is on the line, and everyone trying to race hard here tonight. A win here would go a long way on a resume.
Yeah, this is certainly going to become a big name race to win. Just like in real life, to be able to say that you won the Rory Price in real life is huge. Be able to say you won the iRacing version, I feel like it's going to be just as big here in a few years as this event continues to grow, as the cars are lining up side by side getting ready for this restart.
Lights have malfunctioned on our Ford Mustang pace car. Hopefully that will hit pit road to be serviced. These drivers can get back after it. Kyle Lar in the 12 machine as he gets on the throttle, and away we go. Restart number 1 underway. The 57 of Matt Dial all over that back bumper as he is trying to find a way to win the inaugural Rory Price Memorial on iRacing.
Matt instantly got down to the inside as quick as he could, going into turn number 1 and 2, and your top 2 have just kind of checked out. There's a little bit of trouble deeper in the field. Looks like everyone's able to keep it straight. No, caution does come out.
Big stack up on the backstretch. A lot of drivers involved in this one as we are going to go to our turn 3 instant replay as we see several drivers battling here, everyone jockeying for position. The 3 machine of Wally Beatty trying to get to the bottom. Keith Pierce was there. The 3 going on its side, up and over, and just that big old knot of cars. No one had anywhere to go. And just a very, very rough restart, essentially, as everyone was fighting for position.
Yeah, that was certainly not what you want to see. The 3 car going up and over, all sorts of chaos going down the back straightaway. Tough break for Wally Beatty in that 3 machine, sponsored by drafted by Robert Beck. That's just tough luck right there in the middle of the pack. That's just what happens when you get all these 305s together.
Keith Pierce in the 4 machine, given the end of the line penalty for that incident. Pierce who was working his way towards the front, now finds himself looking at a long line of cars in front of him.
Yeah, it's certainly a tough field to come through, especially with only, it looks like about 19 laps remaining, now 17 laps remaining actually. So it's gonna be, I think he's gonna be running out of time. And your top two up front, Matt Dale and Kyle Larr, have just been putting on a show. They checked out, they put quite a few car lengths in just that half lap. So we'll see what they're able to do on this restart and see if the 9 or the 40 have anything for them in that row number 2.
Drivers starting to form up. They are ready to go racing. Now they just got to convince the Ford Mustang that it is not a race car and to get off the track. Kyle Larr once again going to have to hold off a hard charging Matt Dale in the 57, or Dale, sorry. Man, oh man. Tell you what, Kyler, how about you just talk and I just watch?
Yeah, these names are tough, I'll give you that. As the pace car pulls off, it is Kyle Larr and Matt Dale getting the green flag, and they are off side by side going down into turn number 1. Matt looking like he's a little bit more content out there as he's going to peek his nose out going down the back straightaway. They are still side by side, but looks like Lar's going to get a little bit of the advantage going into turn number 3. They are still side by side throughout the field. Kyle Larr leads that lap, but don't count out Dale as he is still hanging tough on that outside.
He is trying to make that outside work, just cannot get the run up off the corner he needs. He gets a good entry into the corner, but loses out once they get off the corner, and Larr now starting to inch ahead of him. But here comes the 57, just not giving up on that outside lane.
And sitting right there in third is Tyler Reed in that 9 machine, just waiting for one of these two leaders to make a mistake, drive it in a little too deep, and open the door for him to come through and take over the second or third spot, as your top 3 are now single file.
Top 3 getting single file here. We are on board with Tyler Reed watching the battle take place for the lead. And all it is going to take is for these front 2 cars to make contact, and then Tyler Reed will have that top spot as the caution flag is going to fly. Once again, it looks like the 54 machine has found some trouble. And we go to our turn 3 instant replay to see what happened to Steven Maestro. He is on the inside here, tries to make a move on the 51 of Rob Slider. Looks like the 3 gets sideways in front of him, and so the 3 and the 54 find trouble on the backstretch. Take one more look at that. We go on board. The 3 just got loose coming up off the corner.
Tough break for Wally Beatty again, as he is a strong driver, just cannot find his groove tonight. Just must have been one of those cursed nights for him. Tough break for Wally Beatty in the 3. It's just, sometimes it's just not your night.
A 3 machine though on pit road. Looks like maybe he has suffered an immense amount of damage after these 2 cautions that he has been involved in. See if he can get back out there. So far we have all but 2 cars on the track. We have 17 cars out on the track. Ellie Musgrave in the 23 machine and Wally Beatty in the 3 on pit road for the moment.
As we go by the stripe this time, it'll be just 6 laps remaining. So it's going to be a shootout till the end. We saw Matt Dale hang tough on the outside for quite a few laps that time on Tyler Reed. We'll see if he's able, if he learned anything on that last restart to get a better jump on Tyler, or if Tyler Reed's going to be able to hang on that inside line.
That has been an interesting battle at the front of the field. That 57 trying the outside lane, almost making it work, but not getting the exit speed he needs. Kyle Larr in the 12 holding tough on the inside line. It's going to take a bulldoze move to get Larr off the inside.
Yeah, as we will have 5 laps remaining, coming to the green flag, this time by Kyle Larr on the inside with Dale on the outside. Kyle Larr gets a great jump going into turn number 1. He's going to clear Dale right away.
The 9 of Tyler Reed on the inside of the 57. can't make it stick off of turn number 2. That puts the 57 solidly in second, as now we are looking at 4 laps to go. Kyle Larr looking to win the inaugural Rory Price Memorial on iRacing, but the 57 of Matt Dale trying to take it away from him.
Yeah, I would not count out Matt Dale. He has been strong this entire race. Now all over the back bumper of Kyle Larr. We'll see what he has with just 2 laps remaining as they come by this time by.
Going on board once again with Kyle Larr as that 57 machine all over his back bumper. But this time by, we will be getting the white flag. Larr, who has led it from the start, gets it final time around.
We'll see if Matt Dale has one last move. Is he going to dive it deep into turn number 3? Just not enough there. Coming off at turn number 4, it is your winner, Kyle Larr.
Kyle Larr picking up the win. Matt Dale doing all he could sideways through 3 and 4. You can't say he left anything on the track, as that car was all but wrecking, trying to pick up the win. But Kyle Larr gonna wrap up the inaugural Rory Price Memorial, and my oh my, what a race that was.
Yes, indeed. I hope the Rory Price Memorial tomorrow will be just as exciting. Kyle Larr picking up the win. Matt Dale all over his back bumper. He got there early on that green flag run, just did not have enough for him there. Couple caution flags put him on the outside lane, but still just could not top Kyle.
Early.
Welcome back, as we are going to talk to our top 5 drivers from the Rory Price iRace Memorial event. Your race winner, Kyle Larr, in the 12 machine, who was drafted by Cameron Neisinger. What's going through your mind right now, Kyle?
Honestly, lost words, man. This is probably my biggest win in my whole racing career.
Who do you need to thank for this big win, as you are speechless?
First of all, I need to thank Cameron Neisinger for believing me and drafting me number 1. Granite Construction, Winterville Import Auto Repair, Clean Crawls, Fleet Service Auto Truck Repair, Everett Washington Lost Canoe Brew and Chandler Reach Vinyl Yards, Over Turf Photography Property Inspector, Westlake Commercial Properties, Pacific Performance Coatings, Johansson Mechanical 425 Motorsports, Brostrom Racing 18, Rex Hutchinson Racing Engines, my family, my fiance, Richard Orr, and everybody that believed in me.
So one final question I have for you is, the 57 was all over your back. Do you think Matt Dale had a few more laps, was he gonna get around you, or were you just kind of hanging on for dear life right there?
Honestly, man, I was hanging on for dear life. If there was at least 5 more laps left, he probably would have got around me. Hats off to him. He drove me clean, and I just want to thank him for that.
Well, thanks again for taking the time to talk to us, and congratulations on what you say is your biggest race win. Thanks again for talking to us, as we're going to toss over to KR.
I have caught up with our second place finisher. That is the driver of the 57 machine, Matt Dale. Matt, you all but tried to wreck that thing to win this race. Tell us a little bit about that last lap.
I just got in there a little too hot. I won't trying to wreck them. If I was trying to wreck them, I could have done it earlier. But I mean, good job to Kyle. I didn't really care for the invert, but I mean, it is what it is. I just got to thank everybody that put this race on and all.
Well, Matt, that 57 machine had a great race. You may not have liked the invert, but you found a way to finish in second place, working your way through the field. The restarts there in the outside lane seemed to be where you tried your hardest. What more do you think you needed on that outer lane to make it work?
Just a little bit more grip. I probably could have buried it in there one time and came down on them, but I won't going to try to wreck us both.
Well, Matt, congratulations on a second place finish. Before we send you out, any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
Yeah. I got to thank Billy Kinley for drafting me. Kinley's Keys Music, American Music, Frankie's Pizza, Signature Textured Services, Fleet Service Auto and Truck Repair, Westlake Properties, Tony Quadros with LFOD Motorsports, and then MD Designs. And also thank for Richard for putting this race on.
All right, Matt, congratulations on second place. Nice job out here tonight. And Kyler, I believe you caught up with our third place finisher.
Yeah, I'm talking to Tyler Reed now. Tyler, you were drafted by Jay Dishnew. What does that mean to you being picked by a real life driver over at Evergreen Speedway?
Man, it was pretty cool. I really appreciate it. It was last pick. I was told like last second that he picked me up, and I was waiting to see if anything was going to happen. But yeah, it was pretty cool to get picked up by one of the fellow drivers over there.
So yeah, there was quite a show going on out your front windshield. Were you just hoping those two cars would get together, or do you think you had anything for the top two?
Man, honestly, I was just riding. I was just trying to see what was going to happen and go from there. But Matt, Dale, and Kyle were straight digging, so it was kind of just riding third and riding that showcase seat in case them two got together.
Any last shout outs you want to give?
Oh yeah, man, I want to thank Jay just for picking me up. I really appreciate it. It was a hell of a deal for him to do that. And First Line Systems Incorporated, Great Western Transport, TDC Shocks, everybody over at JMD Graphics, Landrum Coil Springs, Diablo Chassis, Rex Hutchison Engines, and most importantly, MD Designs 305 Sprint Car League for having one hell of a league and keeping this thing running.
Oh, well, thanks again. Congratulations on your third place finish, and I'm going to toss it back over to KR, who is with our fourth place finisher.
Dylan Thomas in the 51 ends up in fourth here tonight. Congratulations, Dylan, on a hard-fought fourth place finish here in the Rory Price Memorial on iRacing. What can you tell us about the race out there tonight?
It was pretty fun right there. I feel bad I got into Mike Henry right there. I felt like I was a little quicker, and he kind of stepped out coming off 4. I got into his bumper a little bit, and I want to apologize to him first and foremost. That was completely non-intentional.
Well, these cars are meant for dirt here in iRacing. We saw a lot of drivers stepping out. What can you tell us about how they handled tonight?
The setup was good as long as you could keep it under you. It was all about moving your wing back and forwards, trying to find the little sweet spot right there. And once you found it, just hold on and hope the guy in front of you will either screw up or give them a little nudge and get them out of the way.
All right, Dylan. Well, congratulations on fourth place. Any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
I'd like to thank Jake, man, for giving me a shot in this good-looking car. Waller Motorsports, Fastenal, JMD, Signs and Graphics, and Big Al Kids and Motorsports Foundation. I usually drive a Mike M Designs car. I want to thank him for, on the asphalt and dirt side, other than this, giving me a good-looking car. I want to thank Yardbird Enterprises, SSR Racing, and MD305 for putting this deal on. Richard for kind of throwing this deal together, and y'all for giving a good broadcast.
All right, Dylan, congratulations on fourth place, man. It was a heck of a show. Really enjoyed watching you work the field out there tonight.
Thank y'all.
All right, Kyler, and you have our 5th place finisher, the 40 of Colin Penn.
Yes, I do. So, Colin, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the first 2 drivers. You were drafted by Troy DeCare. What does it mean to you?
It's pretty cool. I've been following Troy a little bit, and I know he's been tearing it up all year. So, for him to draft me, that was pretty cool. A little bummed I couldn't bring home the win for him, but we gave it a solid top 5.
Yeah, top 5 in this race certainly is nothing to hang your head on. With that stacked field out there, what's kind of going through your mind when you're in the middle of a huge pack going 2, even 3 wide at times?
Honestly, I wasn't too worried about it. I know, a lot of these guys, we race with them weekly in the MD Designs 305 Sprint Car Series. So, I got a lot of laps with a lot of these guys. We all kind of trust each other, and it was a fun race overall. I kind of got hung out on the outside there for most of the race, and it wasn't able to make up much ground. But we did what we could do, and I'm happy with the results for it.
Any last shout outs you'd like to give?
First and foremost, Troy DeCare for picking me up. First Line Systems, Great Western Transport, TDC Shocks, JMD Graphics, Landrum Coil Springs, Diablo Chassis, and then Al Parker for throwing the engine in this bad boy and sending her to the front.
Well, congratulations again. 5th place, certainly nothing to be ashamed of. Great run tonight, Colin Penn.
All right, thank you.
Well, Kyler, iRacing side of Rory Price Memorial wrapped up, done. We saw Kyle Larr lead this thing from flag to flag, but not without a heavy challenge from the 57 of Matt Dale. Man, oh man, I know you are excited for what's taking place tomorrow at Evergreen Speedway. So what more could be said about the Rory Price Memorial?
Just to everyone out there watching still, be sure to follow along on Facebook tomorrow at Evergreen Speedway for all of our updates, exclusive videos, some driver interviews. We'll have a highlight video posted early on next week, so you'll be able to watch all the on-track action. 30 plus sprint cars expected to be in the pits tomorrow. It's going to be a great show. You're certainly not going to miss out. The 14th running of the Rory Price Memorial at Evergreen Speedway
is going to be a heck of a show. I will be watching in between my racing that I will be doing tomorrow night. So, Kyler, I'm going to send you a message while that is going down. Good luck to you tomorrow at Evergreen Speedway as you are announcing out there. And as for the iRacing side of the Rory Price Memorial, nothing left but to go through our results. Kyle Larr in the 12 machine picking up the first win of the Rory Price Memorial on iRacing. Matt Dial in the 57 machine ending up second. 3rd place going to Tyler Reed in the 9 machine. 4th, Dylan Thomas in the 51. 5th place going to Colin Penn. 6th, Corey Whitworth. 7th, Michael Henry. Mark Brimkamp ending up 8th place. 9th, Neil Allison. 10th, Daniel Dye. 11th, Joshua Hart. Mike Oakley, 12th. 13th, Jason Day. Keith Pierce will end up in 14th place. Rob Slider in 15th. 16th going to Thomas O'Hare. 17th, Stephen Maestro. 18th, Ellie Musgrave. And 19th will be the 3 machine of Wally Beatty. And I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a race, Kyler. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. And man, before we sign off, any last things you'd like to say?
Well, just thank you for having me. Thanks. A big shout out to Turn 3 Racing Network. This was awesome. You did a great job. Thank you to all the drivers who participated, put on one great show, one clean race. And it just gets me even more excited for tomorrow for the Rory Price Memorials. Just again, be sure to check out Evergreen Speedway on Facebook for all the updates tomorrow.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed the broadcast here tonight, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so yet on the YouTube side of things, it will really go a long way for the drivers and the people who put together the Rory Price Memorial. If you haven't done so yet, a lot of the links for our sponsors are provided down below in the broadcast description. make sure you hit them up and tell them thank you for supporting tonight's event. And that will do it for us here at Turn 3 Racing Network. For myself, KR Stolfus, Kyler Hope, we hope to see you guys next year. And we also hope that some of you will make your way out to Evergreen Speedway tomorrow night as the Rory Price Memorial takes place once again for Evergreen Speedway. Guys, have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
You got me losing my mind just to get you to notice me. You gonna make me turn back, way back to the oldest me. Guarantee that you notice me. You don't want